There was a time when Friday night meant one thing. You'd grab your jacket, drive down to the glowing blue and yellow store at the edge of town, and walked through aisles lined with dreams. The smell of popcorn, the hum of the fluorescent lights, the feeling of holding a movie in your hand and choosing what your night would be. That was Blockbuster. It wasn't just a store, it was a ritual, a weekly pilgrimage for millions. But one night, that light started to fade, and what replaced it didn't feel human at all. This is the story of how streaming didn't just kill a company, it killed Friday night itself. Welcome to Missed Billions Explained, the series where we explore the billion-dollar mistakes, the cultural shifts, and the dreams that vanished when the world changed too fast. If you love stories of innovation, nostalgia, and the moments we didn't realize were ending, hit subscribe, because this one is about how a business decision erased a piece of our childhood. The year was 1998. Blockbuster was everywhere, over 9,000 stores across the world. Aisles of VHS tapes and DVDs stretched like libraries of imagination. Each visit was a ritual, picking snacks, debating movies, and grabbing a new release before they ran out. It wasn't just entertainment, it was connection. Teenagers on dates, parents with kids, roommates arguing over comedies or thrillers. The store was alive. Even the late fees were part of the legend, because if you paid them, it meant you'd had a good night. Blockbuster wasn't just selling movies, it was selling time together. And at its peak, it was worth $5 billion. Then came the internet, and the storm it brought didn't just change business, it changed behavior. In 1997, a small startup appeared, mailing DVDs through the post. It was called Netflix. At first, Blockbuster didn't care. Mail? Who would wait for a movie to arrive when you could grab one in 5 minutes? But what they didn't see was the shift happening underneath. People weren't just looking for speed anymore. They were looking for freedom. No due dates, no late fees, no driving, just choice. Netflix wasn't competing with Blockbuster's service. It was competing with its ritual. And as the internet grew faster, that ritual started to look outdated. In the year 2000, Netflix's founders, Reed Hastings and Mark Randolph, walked into Blockbuster's headquarters with a proposal. They wanted to partner. Netflix would handle the online side of things, and Blockbuster would manage the stores. The price? $50 million. The executives at Blockbuster laughed. To them, Netflix was a joke, a small, unprofitable startup. Blockbuster was the king. How could a mail-order business threaten an empire that made $1 billion a year in late fees alone? But the joke didn't age well, because in less than a decade, the company they mocked would become the one everyone used, and the company that laughed would be gone.
As broadband arrived, Netflix pivoted to streaming. It wasn't just movies anymore, it was instant movies. You didn't have to plan your Friday. You could watch whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted. And suddenly, that weekly trip to Blockbuster felt inconvenient. The hum of the fluorescent lights turned into silence. The aisles became empty. The shelves, once filled with color, began to thin out. It wasn't just a company dying, it was a ritual disappearing. By 2010, Blockbuster was buried under over $1 billion in debt. Stores were closing every week. And Netflix had become a cultural phenomenon. The last Blockbuster in America became a museum, a snapshot of what connection used to look like. But here's the truth. Blockbuster didn't just lose to Netflix, it lost to us. Because we changed too. We traded Friday night rituals for algorithms, physical aisles for endless scrolls, the smell of popcorn for the sound of autoplay. Convenience won. But something else was lost. Streaming made everything faster, easier, but also lonelier. There was no anticipation anymore, no discovery, just data telling you what you'll like next. And that's the part Blockbuster could never compete with. Not because they couldn't stream, but because they couldn't survive in a world where waiting no longer existed. What if Blockbuster had said yes? What if they had partnered with Netflix, merged their physical stores with digital access, and created the perfect hybrid, part ritual, part revolution? They had the brand, the customer loyalty, and the infrastructure. They could have been the bridge between old and new. Instead, they doubled down on late fees and brick walls. They thought people loved their stores, but what people really loved was what the stores represented. And when Netflix offered that feeling at home, Blockbuster's magic vanished. Blockbuster didn't fail because people stopped watching movies. It failed because it didn't understand why people watched them together. It thought technology was the enemy, but the real enemy was time. We moved faster than they did, and no company can survive when it refuses to change with its customers. But here's the thing, every streaming platform today still chases what Blockbuster once had. The sense of choice that feels personal, the feeling of a movie night that mattered. They've replaced the shelves with screens, but they're still trying to recreate that Friday night feeling. Because you can stream a movie, but you can't stream nostalgia. Blockbuster didn't just lose a business war, it lost a generation's heartbeat. It was the sound of VHS tapes snapping shut, the flicker of a CRT screen, the laughter in a living room filled with friends. And when that light went out, something changed in all of us. Because the night streaming killed Friday, we didn't just lose a store, we lost the ritual of being together. Thanks for watching Missed Billions Explained. If you enjoyed this story, hit like, subscribe, and tell us what legend or downfall you want next. Because somewhere out there, the next great ritual is being invented, and someone, somewhere, is already laughing at it.
So much kid stuff.
And I can keep them for 3 evenings.
Now this is a video store.
Ordinary video stores don't even come close to Blockbuster Video. You've just got to see it to know what we mean.
Wow. Wow.
Wow, what a difference. Blockbuster Video.
Come discover the Blockbuster difference.
Wow.